Lou Gross, and I'm going to teach you how to stretch by pulling the soft connective tissue of your body and working section by section so you get a really long elongation. The key to being very effective in stretching is to know that you want to pull the soft connective tissue putty of your muscles, which is a fluid with lots of fibers in it, and you're just pulling those fibers like pulling taffy. And when you get that lengthened like that, pulling taffy, you will get a permanent lengthening. So instead of trying to stretch your back up like a rubber band and then have it fall, what you are going to want to do is elongate all of your tissues section by section so that when you stop, you'll find that your bones are in a longer distance and you're feeling straighter up and down and your joints are far looser. Okay, we're going to start off with putting our minds in our bodies, in our arms and our torsos. And after the torsos, we're going to go to the legs, and then we're going to go back up to the arms, and then we're going to go back and forth into the legs as well. Start by stretching the sides of the body and the arms and down the trunk along the spine in the back. Your spine has lots of vertebrae and discs, and there's muscles connecting all those vertebrae and discs. So besides working on side stretching as most people do, we're going to also stretch along the spine as people do, but we're going to do it at the same time. We're going to do one side and then the other, and we're going to stretch from here and the arm all the way down to the pelvis. Then on the other side, the same thing. Then we're going to put our two hands together and we're going to stretch on the middle part, about breast width, to work on the organs from the shoulders and arms down to the pelvis. And that way we'll get a whole stretch throughout the middle part. And after we do that, we'll do a stretching backwards to stretch the spine and the torso this way, and then we'll stretch forwards again. Okay, we'll do them all together in the set. First, raise your right arm up in the air, spread your fingers apart, and put your arm close to your ear. Okay? Now, you can look up if you want, stretch the two fingers apart, and release them. Stretch the next two fingers apart. And up here in the hand, you have bones that go down in the hands all the way through toward your wrist. So you want to be able to spread these webbings apart. Okay? Now stretch the next two fingers apart and relax the other parts, and then stretch the last two fingers apart. And if you forget which direction, doesn't matter, just stretch them all. Then relax your hand, now that you've stretched that. Now pull on the wrist, the forearm, and the elbow, and you might be able to see my arm going up a little bit more at a time. You might feel it all the way down your arm, but you're stretching it all the way up, section by section, paying attention to up in here. Then you relax. Now you pull your arm up again, and you're going to pull on the elbow, the upper arm, and the shoulder with your mind's attention in your arm. The rest of it you'll feel coming up too, but it should relax a little, and you'll probably feel it down in here. Then we'll let it relax. Now with the right hand facing your head, take the left arm up in the air from behind and slide the thumb and the forefinger around your right wrist, so the thumb is also on the head side of your right arm. Now relax your right arm and let your left arm do the work. Pull straight up with your left arm so it comes by your ear. Stand on your right foot. That's the arm you're stretching, the right arm and the right foot. And balance on the front of the left foot, front half. And your left knee is going to be bent. Now, you don't have to lock your legs or anything in this position. Just stand in this way. And then pull up with your left arm and tilt your head into your left shoulder, because we're going to be bending over to the left. And this is going to help you bend your spine and loosen those muscles. So you lean over to the left and let your mind go into your spine. You might even want to close your eyes if you can balance, into the neck spine and into the upper back spine. And notice my body is pushing over to the right a bit. The knee is forward. That allows me to do this pushing easy and comfortably. Now you take your left arm and pull on the right arm and feel it pull underneath your right arm, just underneath the shoulder. And then relax your arms, let yourself come up a little bit, catch your breath, because even though this is a nice comfortable stretch, it does take some effort. so you don't want to get out of breath. Again, tilt your head over to the side, leaning with your upper back between your shoulder blades, all the spine area, up and down, imagining that one vertebrae and disc is separating from another, bending in the middle back and the spine. Then take your left arm, pull on your right arm, and feel it spread the ribs on your right side. And relax and let it give way all the way down the spine. I'm pushing my pelvis out a little bit more to relax, and then I come up and rest. Now it's going a little long. You don't have to always do it this long. Some people like to do it longer, but we'll do it faster when we go on the other side, because sometimes people get out of breath in the beginning. So now you lean your head over again to the left. You push your right side out. You bend your spine to the left in the upper, middle, and lower backs. You push the pelvis out. Then you push with your left hand on your right arm. The right arm goes limp, and you're using it as a lever to spread the right waist and the right pelvic area. And after you get soft enough in your tissue, you'll feel it go down the outside of your right leg. And notice how my feet are balancing. And then you can just relax and come up. Bring your arms down. Take some breaths. And you might be able to feel that the right side is longer, and they're taking a deeper breath. Now we'll just do 1, 2, 3, so to speak, on the left side. Left arm comes up in the air, palm faces the head. The left arm as close to the ear as you can. Now a lot of people have difficulty with their elbow. It won't straighten, so you just do the best you can. And remember, above all things, while you're working on this, don't hurt yourself. Pull to where you're feeling the tissue giving way little by little, like thick taffy, pulling apart. Okay, you're trying to pull the little collagen fibers through the fluid of the soft connective tissue of your muscles. Now you take the left arm up in the air and you spread 2 fingers, release. Spread the next 2 fingers down through the web in the hand and release. The next 2 fingers and release. The next 2 fingers and release. And keep your mouth smiling if you can. That will release tension in your shoulders. Pull your wrist up, your forearms, your elbows, and relax. And again, your elbow, your upper arm, and your shoulder, and relax. And notice we're not killing it. We're not trying to stretch one part to pull it apart from another area. In this particular stretch, we're trying to get our mind inside different sections of the body. It's almost like a mind into body meditation and awareness practice. Now you can then pull your left arm up, come around from behind, grab the left arm, its palm is facing the head, stand on your left foot, balance on the front of your right foot. Take your right arm up in the air with your right, pulling left arm, tilt your head into the right shoulder, bend your neck to the right, bend your upper back to the right, your middle back to the right, focusing on your spine. I just had a little click in my vertebrae, which means I'm stretching the connective tissue of the muscles along the spine better. Pulling with my right arm and feeling it underneath my left arm. Then I release. Then I push the left ribs to the side. Notice my legs kind of lean a little bit to the left side. I'm balancing on the right foot. The right knee is forward. And I pull again with the right arm. I bend the neck and the spine on the right. Bend it in the upper and middle backs. In the lower back, I pull some more. Push the ribs to the left side and feel them spread apart. One muscle in between the ribs to another. Then I relax. Then I push again the pelvis to the side and the waist to the side, bending my neck spine, upper, middle, and lower back spines with my attention seeing the vertebrae spread. Pull my arm to the right. Feel it pull in the left waist, the left pelvis, and even a little down the left leg. And then I come back up and I bring my arms down. And I take a nice deep breath, let my energy settle down in my waist and my pelvis and legs. Notice that my ribs and your ribs probably are breathing bigger because we've opened the muscles between the pelvic bone and the ribs. So it gives you more of a distance all the way around. We're going to get that so that this area stretches more. And by doing this kind of stretch with the connective tissue pulling, we're also going to be able to get it into the legs and the arms, they all affect the amount of breathing. Okay, now we'll do feet together, touching the toe areas and the heel areas, and the knee area too. Now if you happen to have a little bow leg in this, you won't be able to get them touching, but just get as close as you can. Okay? Now you bring your arms out and up over your head and clasp your fingers together, and then stick your index fingers out. This is called a steeple position. Looks like a church steeple in yoga. And then you put your arms by your ears or behind them. Remember, you do as best you can. And then you push your feet into the ground. And you lock your knees and you squeeze your buttocks cheeks together. And then from this nice, strong, rigid lower part, we're squeezing blood out of those muscles. Then you pull the waist upwards, and out of the pelvis, you pull the chest and the arms upwards, and you tilt your body to the right. Now, I'm not the greatest yoga adept, but I still get a good stretch when I do this, pulling my arms, and I feel it pull along the left side of my body, right in this area, as well as the sides. And that opens the tissue, more connective tissue around my lungs, and my spleen and pancreas, and my intestines, and even the kidneys and back, and even around the heart. I'm pulling the tightness that's accumulated in my structure, and I'm relaxing into this position, dropping my head a little bit. Some people will want you to keep your arms closer if you can. Strains the arms a little bit so you don't have to kill yourself with this though. And then you can come back up. Take a deep breath. You might want to relax your arms a little bit because it is a little straining in the beginning. Take your arms up again. Push your feet into the floor, lock your knees, squeeze your buttocks, cheeks together, and raise your waist out of your pelvis. Pull your arms up, tilt to the left side, pushing yourself to the right, and pulling with the arms to the left, bending the neck and head and the back, pulling again, feeling it pull on the right side from the pelvic area through the midsection all the way to the chest, pulling upwards and over, and then come back. Now, if you want to hold that longer because you're a yoga adept, that's fine. Okay, now we're going to go the backward part and the frontward part. First, we're going to extend the spine backwards, and I'm just turning to show you. You could be standing in the same position. You might have taken a break just now to rest. And now we're going to go put our arms over our head again, clasp the fingers, put the other fingers up, put the feet together, lock the knees, squeeze the buttocks, cheeks, push your feet into the ground, lift your waist out. Now you can either have your hands like this, or you can take your hands and separate them apart a little bit. And what we're going to try to do is take our trunk and elongate it upwards. Now if you have neck problems or lower back problems where the discs are pinched, the nerves are pinched, please be careful. You don't want to do too intense a positioning to squeeze them too much right now the way your structure is. But you can take your hands here. Now we're going to lift our head backwards and see if we can extend the spine and the head backwards in a tube. And then pushing the chest up forward, extending it. If you have to, it's okay to put your feet a little further apart to keep your balance. Then you can lift your chest up. You can push your ribs forward and up. Bend your back so you feel, if you're able to do this, one vertebrae and another elongating, going backwards, elongating the whole trunk, elongating as well as bending, lifting upwards and back. Now I'm bending with my low back a lot. My buttocks are squeezed a little bit. My pelvis is forwards. Notice I'm not trying to touch my head to the ground behind me. I'm just getting a lot of shaking here, which is breaking apart tension in my muscles, and I'm pulling the fascia, the soft connective tissue, up and back, lifting up. My whole putty system from the pelvis is now giving way. The front of my pelvis is giving way a little bit. A lot of us get tightness in here for sitting a lot. Lifting up and then coming back up. And right away, if you can, you bring your arms down, bend over, drop your head down. It's usually easier with your feet a little further apart. You can bring your head down, your chin down. Put your hands down your legs behind your ankles. Bring your chest to your thighs. Now, if you bend like this with your knees bent, you're going to get a pull on the upper back of the thighs through the buttocks, and it's going to pull the muscles through the lower back and then up the back. That's what we want here. If you're used to stretching like this, you're going to feel it in the back of your calves and the back of your knees and the very lower thighs. Today, we want to get this part going right here. So you put your hands behind the ankles, or you can even stand on the fingers and grab your heels from underneath. Pull your elbows back. Drop your chin in. And now, with this releasing in the buttock, thigh, and lower back, then let your vertebrae go one from another, going up and over the top. And you're bending your spine in the opposite direction from what we just did. We're flexing the spine, and we're bringing one vertebrae after another down. If you have problems over here using T3 or L3 or L5 and S1, don't hurt yourself, but just see if you can get this to loosen somewhat. So from your legs upwards, stretches. Make sure you're getting your legs and buttocks, because those muscles in the soft connective tissue are holding that back tight. So you want to lengthen this. If you're really tight in the legs and you have a lot of low back problems, be careful you don't pull too hard here, because it might cause you to feel a little strain. If that ever happens, just go and do a lot of the leg stretches we're going to show you. So you're down here, and slowly you come up. And if you've ever been in traction, you'll recognize this as kind of a super traction that we're doing with our own bodies to pull all this tissue all around. And remember to take it easy. I'm a little out of breath right now. Sometimes I'm not out of breath. Just do it at your own pace. Don't kill yourself. Just try to get that tissue to soften. Now we're going to take a little break. We're going to have a little water. We're going to come back. We'll do some leg work. Hey, hi again. So I'm sure that your torso feels a lot looser, and maybe your neck is a little stiff, or maybe it's a little looser, but we'll get to that. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but that your leg tightness really affects your back. And in fact, it really affects you all the way up to your chest. You've had a lot of body work on you, you've done a lot of yoga. Maybe you can even feel that when you walk, your elongated legs are actually moving tissues inside your chest. Your arms and your legs can actually be moving fluidly together. So what we're going to do today is do some stretches for the legs. We're going to start out with the hamstrings, which are three big muscles on the back of the legs, and they connect the buttocks to the thigh bone and even to the lower leg bone. And they go like this. Okay? And the opposites are the ones over here called the quadriceps, four big muscles on the front, and they go over the top of the knee and attach here. Something a lot of people don't also know is that even if you have tightness here or here, the back of the legs are affecting it. This is always a big player. And if you run or bicycle ride or even do a lot of walking or weight work in the gym, you'll stand there and you'll see a bulge in the middle of the back of your thighs. That means that instead of your hamstring muscles being fully elongated, they have a certain amount of their tissue bunched up in the middle. So we're going to work the interconnections of the thighs, the back of the knees, the calves, and the ankles to the feet. And we're going to do a similar thing as we did before, stretching section by section by section and pulling the fibers of the soft connective tissue so it gets a little longer and a little longer. And we're going to point our toes forwards and go to four places. Here, 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 and here. Then we're going to point our toes outwards about 45 degrees, do the same thing, but in the outside corner, here, 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 and here. Then the inside corner, we're going to point the toes inwards, and we're going to go here, 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 and here. Okay? So you lean on something. You can lean on a wall, or you can lean on a big desk, something high, and you want to get your weight forward. So besides going section by section with your mind in your tissues, you also want to not let your rear heel rest on the floor. Because if it rests on the floor, you can't use it as a lever. So some people ask me, how is it to stretch the hamstring if they lie on their backs on the floor and put their leg up in the air against the wall? And I say, well, that will work here if your tissue will give way, but this other tissue might be holding it, and you don't have a lever here to pull to kind of stretch it. So that most of those people found that adding this really helped to stretch it, and then maybe that other stretch gave way a little easier because this was a little longer. Okay? So you put your hands out, and you lean back. Now your left foot is going to be helping by putting the toes a little forward, and your knee goes over your toes and you're leaning with your hands. And notice my rear foot, the leg I'm going to stretch, the heel is up in the air. So I push down with my heel and I concentrate on the heel and the Achilles tendon, which is right above the heel. Then I release, then I push down again and feel it go through the calf. Now most of us feel it in the calf, no matter what part we're paying attention to, we'll also feel in the calf. But I'm pushing this down, then you release. Then I lean down a little forward here, and I push down, and that way I can get a little stretch behind the knee. Now the hamstring muscles go across the back of the knee to the bones in the lower leg, and the lower leg muscles go across the back of the knee into the bone in the hamstring, in the thigh, right below the hamstrings. So we're going to stretch both of these going across the knee. Then relax. Notice my left foot is still up in the air, I'm still leaning, and then leaning down, I push my thigh down, my heel down, I'm stretching in the middle of the thigh. And notice I don't have to keep it this long, just a little bit to get a feel of the stretch. And I want to point out that the ones we just did a little earlier while I was narrating, going back and forward, you don't necessarily have to do it that long. You can just go back and then go forward and get a pull and then release. And that's good enough to do when you're at work, even in work clothes, suit or something like that. It'll just give you a little bit of a stretch. Now I want to add something so you understand that your vertebrae can go like this and like this. Some of you have done yoga positions where you can arch your back up and then arch the back the other way. So you can take your mind, and I'm going to show you something here. If you put your hands down here and bend over, you can push your back upwards in the lower back, like stretch that spine into curve, and then release it. Then in the middle of the back, push it up and release it. And the upper back, push it up and release it. And the neck, push it up and release it. And that way you can get, with your position and your attention, a little more stretching. And that goes along with what we're doing in the hamstrings, because we're paying attention to we're putting our mind in those muscles to have each part give way. So we did with the toes facing forward. Now we're going to do with the toes facing outwards. If you're on a wall, you can put your hands up here. You put your legs in a position. Now you point your toes outwards on the right, and the knee goes forward. You're leaning forward on your arms, balancing on your left toes, pushing the right heel down, feeling it in the outside right corner of the ankle. Release. Push down again. Notice my heel is starting to hit the floor, so I put my foot back further. If this is too much for you, just lean forward a little, bend your arms. Now push again on the outside right corner of the calf. Release. The outside right corner of the behind the knee. Release. The outside right corner of the thigh. Leaning down. And come back. Now I point my toes inwards. And I do the same thing, pushing down on the left inside corner of the right leg, in the ankle, and release. Then in the calf, and release. And then behind the knee, and release. And because I'm putting my attention there, it gives way a little bit. And then behind the thigh, and I lean downward for behind the thigh and behind the knee. And I come back. And some people, if they're really soft in their tissue, can actually find that their right leg, like mine, feels a little longer, even though I just did it a tad amount. Now, some people I show this to who are athletic, they like to just stay in each of those positions. Ankle, knee, behind the knee, calf, thigh. They just stay in those positions, pulling, lengthening. Okay, we're going to do the other leg. Take your left foot back, toes go straight ahead, and you lean over the right knee over the right foot, leaning forward, pushing your left ankle back, pushing the heel down, and release. Then push the calf down, and release. Then move my foot back a little bit, push behind the knee down, lean a little further down, and release. And push the back of the thigh down, lean forward. I'm using my heel, but I'm talking about pulling on the back of the thigh so it elongates, and then let go. Notice I take a break by standing up, balancing on my foot. Then I take my foot, the rear foot, to the outside again, lean over the right knee, over the right toes, push down on the outside left corner of the left leg in the ankle. You might even want to be good at this so you'll stretch a second place in the calf, feeling the whole ankle and the calf give way together, and then release. You don't want to do all four together. That's a little bit too much to try to get each section to pull until you get really good at bringing your attention one place to another. So now we'll go behind the knee, lean forward, and then go behind the left thigh in the outside corner, leaning forward. Then come up. Then take the left foot pointed inwards, pushing down on the inside rear corner of the ankle. Release. The inside rear corner of the calf. Release. The inside rear corner of behind the knee. Release. My foot has to go back a little. And the inside rear corner of the thigh on the left side, leaning down, pushing. Now if you really want to get this a little bit more, I find it works really well if you go back and do 1, 2, 3, 4 with the feet straight. So we'll just do quickly the right leg, heel, release, calf, release, behind the knee, release, behind the thigh, leaning forward, pulling, release. Then I go to left leg, behind the ankle, release, behind the calf, release, behind the knee, release, and behind the whole thigh, pushing, release. So because I did the sides and because I did the front pointing together, 1, 2, 3, I pulled all those fibers, and there was a lot of blood in there. So if I go into the second time going through it, it gives way more. If you have the time and you want to do each one of these things 2 times in a row, that's the way they do it in some intensive yoga practices, you can do that too. Now you might want to feel how your legs are. If they're very, very tight to begin with, then you'll have some feeling maybe it's not so elongated. If they're very long, soft already, you might find that you're standing a little straighter. You might find a little relief in your low back. Now we're going to do for the inside of the thighs and up at the connections. Now we have muscles that go from the thigh bone in here to the pelvic bone. They're called adductors. They add our legs together. And they go down through here and even across the knee. And everybody grows up with kind of a leaning forward and then an arching backwards. So your pelvis is a box. And the front corner on the bottom is this adductors, and they're leaning forward and pulling your box downward so your belt line goes up. That means that you're going to have to walk around like this with your trunk coming out of your pelvis all the way like this. But you don't want to do that. So instead, what you automatically do is you swing forward at your hip joints and you arch back here in your back, and that makes an excess curve in your low back, and that's what causes most people's ongoing and developing back problems. So the idea is you want to get all this stuff down below so you're not standing zigzag, so you're more standing vertical. And if you can stretch these in the soft connective tissue and get body work maybe, it'll really help. Okay, so you stand in a V. We're going to do a V for victory. Then we're going to do an L shape in one direction and an L shape in the other direction. You can remember it for Lou. And we're going to do, with the V, we're going to do one position and then the second position, A and B. And for the L shapes, we're going to do A, B, C, and D. And you'll see it's very easy. These are also things you can do right in your office, at work, even right outside in the recreation. So you go in a V shape, you put your arms on your thighs. You might want to hike up your pants, and then you hang down a little bit, but squat, let your legs pull apart. Right in here, then raise your back up a little bit, and you'll feel it pull a little more. Then drop your hands to the floor, bring your head down, and you'll feel it pull a little bit more posterior, pulling the tissues off the bones toward the buttocks, opening up a little bit in the back where the thigh muscles, the hamstrings, the adductors connect to the bottom of the pelvis bones. And then you can come up. And if you have a very tight back and chronic back problems for a long time, and you find that this hurts your back, don't do it yet. Do other things for your legs that don't hurt. Get a lot of connective tissue body work for your legs, which will soften this. And then I find people are in better tissue and bone condition, and they can do this position better. But I used to teach this to 70 and 80-year-olds, and almost everybody could do it. Okay, now we go into an L shape. Doesn't matter which side. We're just going to get different positions to stretch the legs, just as if you were in the gym, you work different positions with the weights to get different parts of the muscles. You squat, put your arms on your thighs, sit down, feel it pull in the groin area, relax your back, relax your head a little bit so you're not straining in the upper body. Then put your hands down on the floor, bend down, and you'll feel it pull in the back, in the buttock. And you just let that go. Relax your buttocks, relax your low back, relax your middle and upper back. We're not pulling, we're just relaxing. Relax the trunk in the front so it bends easily. And then come back up. And then the third part, you lunge. You simply go to the side. You can adjust your feet the way I'm doing to get a nice position. Lunge the left knee over the left foot. And feel it pull inside the right leg. Now, if you keep your right foot flat on the floor, you'll feel it pull behind the left thigh. Underneath, if you can get it way down. And if you turn your foot so the side of the foot comes off the floor, you can feel it sometimes down the inside of the rear leg. Then you get up. Now I promised you step 4. Step 4, I want to point out, has two purposes. One purpose is that it's going to work the muscles on the side of the pelvis, and these are very important. And the other purpose is, I want to tell you that you can invent your own connective tissue spreading stretches. I invented this step 4 for the bartender in a bar on a slow night who said he always had tightnesses here after he did certain kinds of activities. So you can stretch your neck up, for instance, pull your chin up and feel the fascia give way right through your neck down through your chest. And then you can pull your neck on the right side and do a putty pull right through the right chest area, down through your pecs and right over to the right side of the ribs. And then pull back the other side, lifting your chin up, bringing the back of your head toward the other shoulder blade, and pulling all those neck muscle fascias, 2 or 3 layers, all the way through your pecs and down the sides of the ribs. Then you can come forward, pulling your chin down, pulling the back of your neck way down. And then you can pull the other side until take your left forehead, bring it to your left underarm, and pull the right rear part of your neck and down underneath the right rear shoulder blade. Then you can come up and tilt the right forehead to the right underarm and the right ribs and pull the left rear neck and down through the left rear shoulder blades. And then you can come up. You can even bring your chin down, bend a little bit, and pull your whole neck down so you spread all your muscles through your spine up the back. And you can even turn to the side and feel the muscles pulling through. You can extend your arm, which we're going to do a little bit, just to get a feel for how you can pull taffy. Your whole body is a giant taffy pull. And then you can come back. And my neck is now a little longer. Okay, now we're going to go down below. Instead of being in a big lunge the way we were, we're going to make it a shorter lunge. And we're going to take our rear foot and we're going to point it not quite straight, but close straight. Not quite 45, maybe a little closer, whatever works for you. And then you're going to bend your legs a little bit, and you're going to turn your pelvis to the side where the leg goes, the further leg forward. And you're going to twist the pelvis muscles on the side and where they join into the next lower back here and to the next part, the lower thigh area, the upper thigh, all the way down the outside of your thighs. Now if you want to hold on to something, might make it easier. You just spread this all apart through here. And I want to tell you, besides your gluteus maximus, you have the top of your thigh bone here. The gluteus maximus connects to it. And then you got another muscle in here called the tensor fasciae lata, which comes up here. Then you got 2 muscles here, which come from this bone to the crest of this bone. They're called the gluteus medius and underneath it the minimus. And you can spread this on these smaller gluteus muscles, so you spread this sideways. And that helps the back. I feel it freeing in my tailbone. And I bend around a little more, so I get my back spreading sideways, and I feel it down the leg. So I'm pulling on that. And I can go the other way. Take one foot forward, a short lunge, bend the other foot, not quite straight, but close to it. Then turn your torso at the pelvis toward that forward foot and around, and you feel it pull on the sides of your pelvis, pulling the gluteus medius and minimus, the tensor fasciae lata, the gluteus maximus, pulling down this tendon on the side of your leg to your lower leg, which is called the ilio, for the ilium bone, tibia, which is the tibia bone, the iliotibial tract. And as these muscles in here release, that tendon with all its soft connective tissue release as well. That tendon gets pulled on and these muscles contract every time you take a step, every time you stand on one leg. So we're pulling it apart all the way in the back, spreading it off of the soft connective tissue around the sacrum, the tailbone, the lower back vertebrae, and then I come back. So you can see, you can really get a nice taffy pull in all different parts of the body. Now we did one L shape, just in case you're following here, we're going to do the second L shape. So you point your other foot out to the right foot, the left foot goes straight in front. You want to make sure that you're not kind of sloppy L, because we did a V before, so you want to make a nice straight L. So if you go from these toes and this heel, you go right to that heel. And if you're on a floor with lines on it, it's easy. Then you can squat down again, put your arms on your thighs, feel it pull in the groin area. You might feel the outside of your pelvis and thighs, the way I do now, a little looser. You can drop your hands down, lean down, feel it pull in the buttock area, release the lower back all the way up the back vertebrae. Bring the chin in, I reach down like this, notice I got a little click in my shoulder area, and then I come up. Just had a little click in my low back, which means I'm spreading these muscles so that this gets less tight, so the vertebrae can go back right where they want to. You're getting a natural adjustment. Might not substitute for a chiropractic visit to get all the little things going, but it sure helps on a daily basis. Now you can lean forward, you can pull that back thigh, lunge. I notice I have to bring my leg back a little bit, and I lean forward here. If I want, I can take this foot out further, squat down some more, keep my balance here, let it pull underneath the thigh. Then I can turn the foot, let it pull down a little lower, flatten the foot again, feel it under the thigh, and come up. Notice I keep my torso loose and relaxed. Now we're going to do a lunge again, and we'll see how it feels. Lunge to the right with a twist, and go back, and lunge to the left with a twist. And now my pelvic area, for me, is starting to spread apart, feel a little looser. And now what you can do is swing. You want to swing your hips back and forth in a gentle way. And notice I'm starting to swing my body. And I'm starting to swing my head. And we've done all this pulling. So what we're going to do is slowly get our minds into our vertebrae, into the tissues, up and down the whole area, so that it pulls on the fascia. You don't want to do a little bit. You want to get to where it actually pulls the fascia a little more. And you can tick-tock it back and forth. I feel it pulling on the side of the pelvis, in the groin area, and you've got muscles inside your pelvis, underneath part of the pelvic bones, go from the top of your thigh bones to the ischium sitting bone and to the sacrum area, and they rotate your foot. Everybody gets these bunched up too when we go in this zigzag. So if you push back and forth, you can get some of those inside to give way. You're relaxing. The blood is in there now. It warms up the muscles. In the muscles is the soft connective tissue. The warm blood area causes that to get softer, and the little tiny protein fibers in the fluid of the soft connective tissue give way a lot easier. You can apply this technique to every kind of stretching that you do, bringing your mind into the tissue with and allowing all of those collagen fibers to spread apart. Even if you're doing an intensive yoga position where you're also trying to squeeze blood and lymph out, let new blood come in, to develop balance, you can also do this connective tissue spreading, and you get your mind and your body. Okay, so we did some things for the legs, some things for the hips here. Another thing you can do for your legs is down on your feet. You can stand on the outside of the feet, and that'll pull the front area here. So you can get that to stretch. And you can even point your toes inwards and stretch that area. And then you can walk a little bit, and you can get a stretch in those areas when you pay attention, and that will pull down the outside of the legs also. Now if you're lying in bed, and I'll simulate it by sitting on this bench, you can push your heels away, and then push your feet away, your toes, and then push your heels away, and push your toes away. Then you can point your toes toward each other, and push the toes away again, and rotate your feet toward each other, and let it spread along the side. Now we can take that idea and do that standing up. Point your toes toward each other, let the toes, big toes, end up about an inch apart. Take your arms around, bring them closer to you so your elbows go out and your fingertips go toward your breastbone. You're bent forward a little bit, you're pulling your arms out. Now you push your heels out a little further, the toes are still close together there, and you're pulling the sides of your pelvis and legs around, and you're pulling this apart. And your back also stretches a little bit between the shoulder blades. Then you can come back and feel that it's getting a little bit longer there. If you want, you can just go round and around, do another lunge here. This will pull all the way down here, lift your foot, and you put a lunge here and stretch here. So this whole system that I call structural connective tissue stretching, or integrated structure connective tissue stretching, is we're seeing how one part of the body affects another, and how we can pull this entire putty bodysuit apart. If you were to look at me and theoretically dissolve everything except my soft connective tissue around the body and in between the organs and in the muscles, you'd still see just what I look like. Now we're going to do something for the arms. Now the arms pick up a lot of tightness, even if they don't hurt, like being a massage therapist or a surgeon or auto mechanic. Everybody's arms get bunched up. We already did something where we stretched here. Now we're going to do a few other things. First, take your arms so the upper arms go straight in front of your shoulders, not off to the side quite yet, just in front of your shoulders. And the forearms go straight up, and the hands go like this, sort of like one of these dancers, but go like this. Now with your arms like this, just shake your hands and keep your mind's attention in your arms so that they rattle, so that the bones in the hands flop around and the arm muscles and the forearms flop around one from another. And you're keeping your mind's awareness in the hands, throwing the hands back and forth and letting them flop around. And you can do this a lot. And for those of us who hold our arms in a pretty tight position sometimes, this is really good to release. And if you stop, you might find a tingling in your hands, and that's because you change the tension into free-floating energy. Now, imagine that you have wet hands, and you don't have a towel, and you have to write a letter with pen and ink. So you have to dry your hands off, so you're going to spritz them. And you're going to spritz them down, coming up to the chest and being very light in your shoulders. Now, if you're tight in your shoulders, you're going to be throwing. Or if you're flopping, you're going to go like this. Try to throw them about 30 degrees into the ground so that it shakes downwards, and you'll feel it in your arm, blah, 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 into the chest. Then you can throw them straight down like this, and I feel in a little different position in the arms. And again, I'm making my mind in my arms floppy all the way in the shoulders. Now I'll relax that. Now we're going to do a stretching thing. We're going to make a circle around in front of us. We're going to take our arm, and the arms actually start from the middle of the chest and the middle of the upper back. And we're going to stretch this out, pulling the fingers as if we're going to circumscribe or inscribe a circle. And we come up, and we have to keep our attention on those fingertips, coming all the way up through here, bringing it all the way up. Doesn't matter exactly how the rest of your body is. The important thing is you're bringing this over. You feel it pull in the upper back across. I have dentist friends who like this. You can bring this down. You can bring this down forward. You can bring it all the way over and all the way up, stretching it straight out. Again, you're keeping your attention on your arm all the way to your fingers. Even though I'm talking, I'm feeling it. So I'm not letting it give way a little bit. I'm keeping it stretched. So it goes all the way up. Now don't hurt yourself in between the shoulder blades, but this is going to stretch your arm all the way up and around. And again, coming all the way around and over, turning your hand so you get it pulled across your chest, under the back of the arm here, through the shoulder muscles and the top of the arm. If I miss a little spot where I didn't pay attention, I go back and I come all the way around, pulling it downwards. I feel it pull up here when I put my arm down, and it's turning the hand again and coming outwards. Then I can go back the other way if I want, bringing it down. Notice I move my fingers apart a little bit. If I want to stretch that, bring it all the way over, up to the corner, all the way up, stretching it all the way to the top, all the way around, and I'm really lengthening this whole network from the belly up through the ribs and outwards, lengthening my arms and around. And now my arm feels a lot longer. I can shake it out if I want. Now I can do the other side. I can take my arm outwards, bring it around, bring it up, all the way, stretching it, making a circle so that my whole side is elongating, turning the hand as it crosses in front of my body, all the way across the shoulder, all the way around and down, all the way, pulling downwards, feeling it give way, going all around. You can do it slower if you like, pulling it around. I feel it just, the forearm is almost like lightly flying off the rest of my body. It's stretching so far, coming back with the palm all the way up, feeling it pull through my arm, keeping those fingers extended down through the abdomen, all the way and around the side. Then I can bring it backwards the other side, bring it upwards, pulling it up. Now I get to pay attention a little bit differently, little different area, outwards, all the way around, down, across, pulling it across, pulling it all the way over, and up again, maybe stretching up all the way, feeling it pull on my pecs into the arm muscles and outwards, and relax it down. That's a really nice stretch for the arms. What you can do also for the arms is you can stand and throw your arm to the side while you turn your body. Throw your arm to the side, turn your body. And then you can go to the other side. Throw your arm to the side and turn your body. A lot of people can't do this if the shoulder and the arm muscles are really tight, but for those of you who can, let it flow out. And the technique I heard was say, go on, go on, that kind of attitude. Now you notice that we've been going top, bottom, because we want to get the whole body moving. Now there's something you can do with the leg, do a floppy kick. Again, you want to get your mind in your legs, and you loose. So imagine you have thongs on your feet, you're going to the beach, you kick off your thongs right before you jump into the water, you go, yay, and you kick your legs, yay. So do one at a time, kick your legs, and you should feel it loosen your quads somewhat, right on the top here. One at a time is usually good. You kind of have to tense your body if you're doing two in a row. And then you can go off on an angle, throwing your legs. Remember we did this with the hands, throwing them into the ground. You can do that with your legs. You can throw it and flop it into the ground at a 45-degree angle as you're leaning on the other leg, and as you kick it, you come back. So you can't do two in a row because you have to tighten yourself and you don't get that swing to the other side. And the theme that I heard this with was once in love with Amy. And you know, if your husband's name is Billy, you can go once in love with Billy, however you like it, see? And then you can relax your legs. And I know people who've had a lot of hamstring problems. When they've stretched enough and then they do the shaking, it loosens the fascia of the muscles on the attachments right down below here. Now I'm scratching my face, but it's reminding me that we have to do something for my face here. So the face muscles connect to the neck, so we can make sounds. Put a W in front of every vowel and contort your face. If you're a little shy, do it silently. Way, we, why, whoa, woo. Notice I'm pulling all the muscles in the face, many muscles. They all connect to my neck. Those muscles connect to my spine. They go down the spine all the way to all my organs. So we go way, wee, why, whoa, woo. You can just practice like, woo, pulling your down, pull this over. Now you can make an R sound. Pull your teeth to the side. And again, you're getting more pulling in there. Now you can also work your eyes. You can look all the way up and see if you can spread the fascia. I mean, there are exercises that go like this, back and forth. See if you can go slower and actually pull the fascia of the muscles around your eyes, even the little ones around the eyeballs. And then look all the way to the left. Really pull everything to the left. And spread everything like putty, like butter spreading, like clay or dough spreading. And then look down and look up to the upper corner, up to the other upper corner, down to the corner, down to the other corner. You can make a circle, but like we did with our arms, with our fingertips in the air a moment ago. Well, see if you can do that with your eyes, keeping attentiveness to the eyes, keeping it stretched all the way around. Then you can blink a little bit. Now, so we've been again going up and down, and by doing that on my eyes, I feel I've relaxed a little bit in the back of my neck. Now, a couple areas that are really key are the front of your thighs and your abdomen. And most people don't show you how to do your abdomen unless you're in a yoga position lying backwards on the floor. That's a little hard for a lot of people to begin with. But what you can do is work your abdominal area standing up. So I put my hands on here just as a tactile feel so I know what I'm doing. You don't have to pull with your hands. Put one hand, say your right hand on your right groin area, and your left hand on the ribs, the flying ribs that's sticking out on the right side. Now you're just going to feel this. And imagine that the bone on the bottom is like this, then you got the tissue behind it, and you got the bone on top. The first part, we're going to try to spread this bottom tissue out of the pelvic area, lifting it up. And then relax, and then pull the middle tissue. Notice I'm going upwards and slightly backwards, not really far back. I'm trying to spread those collagen protein fibers in the fascia. Then relax, then pull the ribs off of this tissue on the upper part, lifting it up. Most people can usually do this. Now you go to the other side, you can put one hand here and here, lift the pelvis tissues up out of the pelvis, and relax. Then the middle area, the abdominals, and relax. And the next area in the ribs, and relax. Then go off the pubic bone. Pull this tissue out from under it. By the way, your pubic bone goes down, the abdominal muscles go down underneath your pubic bone. And they go through tendons and attach to the ischium bones on the lower part of your pelvis, which attaches to your hamstring muscle down the back of your legs. So if the back of your legs are bunched up, it's going to pull you down like this. And then, through these connections, you're going to pull your abdominals like this, and you're going to have to walk around like this. Nobody likes that, so we want to lengthen this as well as lengthen this. A lot of times when I do my body work, it causes this to lengthen, and then I can actually feel people releasing through here. So, now we're going to pull off the pubic bone, feel it spread from underneath, and release. Then we're going to pull in the middle abdomen area. It usually bunches up right around the navel, so you can lift that up and release. Then you can pull in the middle and lift that up and release. You can even go part way, or at the corner where the pubic bone goes to a little soft tissue right before you get to the thigh. Pull that out. There's some deep muscles in there called psoas. PSOAS. They attach from the top inside of your thigh bone, go across the groin, behind your intestines, attach to your lower back vertebrae, and to your diaphragm. When this stuff gets bunched up tight all the way down through your legs, it pulls your back this way, can cause back difficulties. So if you lengthen this, as well as lengthen your back, down in the leg areas, you're going to feel a lot better if you can get that stretch out. So lift this up in here, and lift this up out of the abdomen so you can actually feel you're doing some psoas stretches. Then over here, you lift the tissues out of that groin area, and you lift up through here. Notice I'm being gentle, but my attention is in there. I'm warmed up, and I'm getting all the fascia to give way. And I pull in here, then I can lift my chest a little more because I've lengthened a little lower here, so the distance from the pelvis to the ribs is longer. Now the chest is not pulled down as much. I can get that to go. Now I can push my waist to the side. Feel that will give way a little more. Push the waist to the other side. See, we're going around and around the whole body. Then you can bend again. Put your hands behind your ankles or under your heels. Bring your chest to your thighs. For me, I go down much easier now. My head goes way down, and I'm elongating vertebrae by disc by vertebrae, and I'm stretching through the buttocks. Make sure that buttocks and top thigh area stretches, and then the low back will give way just very easily. You don't want to pull your low back muscles against really tight stuff down here. So you want to elongate and soften everything as it goes. Now the front of the thighs, there's a lot of ways to stretch the front of the thighs, but they tend to be a little difficult, just like the back of the thigh. So again, you can swing back and forth to loosen the attachments of the quadriceps into the pelvic muscles on top. And imagine with your mind that you're going right through the pelvic muscles down through the thighs and spreading the tops of the thighs. This whole network giving the four muscles in here to spread them apart. Spread them sideways. If you were getting massaged, they might call this a cross fiber stroke. Instead of going the length of the muscle, you're trying to spread it apart like somebody's long hair, all wet and gnarly. You're trying to spread all those fibers apart, all the muscle fibers. Then you can stand in a position and take your hand on the inside of your calf. You're going to want to hold on and support yourself if you're new to this. Then you can pull your thigh back, and you'll feel it in the front of the thighs. Don't hurt yourself, but I myself, this is one of the last positions for me to loosen. It used to be really a lot looser until I stopped stretching for a while. Now I have to come back and get it loosened again. And you can do the same thing on the other side. You can bring your hand here, stretch this, pulling the front of the thighs. Now, you can go further with this, and we'll do a very advanced leg stretch. What you do is you stay in this position. This is better, but you can also do this. It's easier. Lock your leg that you're standing on. Some people have trouble with that, but that's because their hamstrings and other leg muscles are still tight for most of the populace who can't do it. So lock your legs and then lean forward. Now in yoga, they have you go like this and stand on one leg and stretch up, and it's a wonderful pose. Eventually you can even get to the place where it feels better stretching without leaning on something than leaning. But if you want to lean right now, that's perfectly right. Don't bring your thigh too far back, because you don't want to work on this right now. You're going to work on your legs below. You lean forward if you want, and you keep your leg locked, and you lean your waist and your pelvis forward at the hip joint. And that's going to pull all the way up the back of your leg. It's another way to get your mind in the back of your leg and pull from the heel to the buttocks and get a really nice stretch. I feel it pulling in the buttocks as well. And you want to keep this leg locked and straight. Then, if you pull even higher, lift your leg a little higher, some people have to go out with it a little bit. You can feel it pull up in the adductors as well. And if you keep your knee locked, you'll get this. You'll also get the blood and lymph squeezed out of the leg with this tightness motion. And then when you relax and come back, you'll get a whole new amount of clean blood coming. So we'll do the other side. We'll just lean against something, and we'll take one foot up in an easy to grab position. And then the idea is to be able to have this leg straight, standing up, pulling in the groin area, pulling the back of the thigh, leaning forwards, and I'm feeling it pull through the back of the legs. And what I tell people is just let yourself start to feel it pull. Don't try to make an effort to pull it too much. And put your attention right into those muscles so you can use your mind to give away the collagen fibers in the soft connective tissue going up and down the whole leg. Your mind goes in there. Again, it's more of my awareness through stretching that I discovered that's what this does. And then you can come back. And you don't have to be a killer. Now you can do another kind of stretching, same position, that gets the leg a little more. And that is, you bring the free leg up, but go straight back. And then you bring your arms straight forward. Now sometimes you have to hold on, and you're pulling, your leg goes back, your arms go forward, pulling, and the bottom leg locks. And besides, now I'm feeling it in the adductors up in here a lot more. With this leg up here, you can bring your buttocks down a little bit if you can, or you can turn it up and you'll get more of an adductor stretch. And you're pulling with your arms, pulling with your legs, and then releasing. And what that does is it pulls the muscles through the back, and even some of those psoas muscles from the groin to the lower back vertebrae. And I find that that allows me to stand up straighter without this muscle in here pulling me down. So we'll do the other side. And again, you don't have to kill yourself. If you're new at this, you don't have to be a yoga adept. You just want to bring your leg back and lean forward, stretch your arms forward. I used to do this on a beach, a wooden walkover, where I could get my foot up on the railing. So you can stretch here and lie your leg on a desk or something. Keep it up high. If you do it on your bed, make sure you prop a lot of pillows. Pulling it forward, pulling it back. Lean a little bit so that this is not a perfect yoga position. More the yoga position you want to get there, you'll feel it more in your calf and hamstring this way. But if you go like this, you can feel it more in your adductor. And so you adjust your position to pull where you want to get the collagen fibers to stretch. And then you're pulling forward, pulling the leg backwards. You can even have an assistant, a friend, hold your leg up a little for you. You don't want to pull too hard on you, but they can just help you keep your balance and get it lifted up. And going forward, and then release. So that ends this tape. You've had an hour's worth of stretching and explanation, and you can take the principles of what we did here, of getting your mind in your fascia, pulling your collagen fibers, separating one section from another, and using the position of your body to get elongation, elongation, elongation. And going from top to bottom, and working those inner muscles as well as the other outer muscles. And see if you can apply this to your yoga, your calisthenics, things that you do at work or at the gym. Thanks a lot for listening. I appreciate any kind of feedback you have.